What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Movie Emporium's TV review of Disney Plus's original series, What If Season 2. This, of course, is called What If Peter Quill Attacked the Earth's Mightiest Heroes. So I actually kind of really enjoyed what this episode was doing. I actually really enjoyed the episode, period, because it focuses on the characters that are the kind of the side characters, the supporting characters for the major Avengers in a lot of respects. And what I mean by that is the main characters of this episode includes voices from Kurt Russell, Ego, of course. We have Michael Douglas, we have Annette, we of course have Fishburne, characters that are in these several different MCU movies, but I would not necessarily say are the major characters of those movies. So we get like John Slatterly and of course Hayley Atwell and stuff like that. So it's a really interesting episode because it involves what would happen if Peter Quill never found, or he found Yondu, but Yondu just gave him the ego instead of holding it for himself, which is kind of the main storyline for Guardians of the Galaxy Part 2 and of course so on and so forth. And I found it really interesting because Peter Quill comes to Earth and causes a lot of havoc, very similar to like the Avengers movie and stuff like that. And you have Giant Man, you have Hank Pym, you have, you know, the Annette Bening's character. I never remember what her character's name is. You have, of course, Peggy Carter and John Slattery's, you know, character of course, of Tony Stark's dad. And they are trying to stop, of course, this character of Peter Quill, who's a kid at this point. This takes place in New York of 1988. And I love the subtext of this episode about how the future kids are going to become the Earth's mightiest heroes and how these individuals kind of play like the seedling role, because this episode deals with basically Kurt Russell's ego character attacking Earth because he wants the seedling seed so he can spread his seed through the entire world, entire galaxy. And these older characters get a time to shine. So you see kind of the old school outfits and you kind of see like how they operate and how they work together. This is probably similar to like if you've ever seen the Watchmen movie or read the comic graphic novel, like the original Watchmen and stuff like that. That's kind of what's going on here. So you also see like a young Hope Van Dyne, and like I said, you see T'Chaka, which is of course T'Challa's father, is one of the heroes. And I just kind of loved it. I love the fact that they're fighting together. They're trying to take down what they think Peter Quill is the bad guy. We see the Winter Soldier, of course, Bucky comes in the mix because he's been alive since the 50s. And we, of course, see Thor, who's been around for many millennia or however long it's been. They're all voiced, of course, by their actors, which include, you know, people like Chris Hemsworth and stuff like that. So it just has a lot of cool set pieces. It has a lot of cool, you know, attacking statues and like stuff that comes out of the concrete. And then, of course, Ego creates his own like gigantic monument to himself. And, you know, it also has like the fight in New York City and kind of the destruction of it. And you kind of see how Hope kind of feels sorry for Peter Quill, who just wants to get back to his home in Missouri. And I really enjoyed it. I really did. I thought it was very fascinating to watch these characters work and kind of be the inkling and seedling to what would eventually be the Avengers that we know. And you just don't see that a lot. You don't see it very often. And just, I love the quips back and forth between the fact that, you know, like Hank Pym knows the Lawrence Fishburne character and they know him for years, like they did in the movie and stuff like that. I just love the idea of just how these characters are moving back and forth throughout the story and how they're just operating and just the look and feel. Even though I'm not a big fan of the visual fidelity, I am a big fan of just like, you know, using the characters instead of like de-aging them, just using their normal voice, what you know now. So, you know, Hank Pym sounds like an older person because, you know, of course, Michael Douglas is an older person. But I found the fact that like they work together, they fight together, they do a nice job together, and they stop the evil. And I like the fact that Peter Quill, because he has a passion for wanting to get back to Earth, he tells Hope that he's been traveled 10,000 light years or whatever, 100,000 light years to get back to Earth so he can see his, you know, grandfather and get to Missouri. And I like the idea that he likes corn dogs, and I like the idea of simple fact of like Yondu basically like you have that like kind of the stretching out of the different kind of branches, where in the original one that we've seen, Yondu kept Peter Quill for his own and screwed over Ego, and here he gives him over Ego. So it's there's just that one small moment, one small slice of thing would cause Yondu to change his mind. So once again, there is a lot of good set pieces. I think it's funny that Thor and Giant Man and Ant-Man and of course all these characters can't stop. It takes Peter Quill, but they can't stop Ego. I like the fact that, you know, like I said, T'Chaka, the original Black Panther, can't stop him and stuff like that. I like the fact that, you know, Peggy Carter is, you know, much older. Of course, you know, John Slattery's character of Howard Stark, you know, they're like in the command center, and it works. It really does. There is a little bit of issues with how Peter Quill is able to shrink with Ant-Man, because I think you had to have a suit, but you know, it is alternate universe type of things, and like I said, you know, that it is what it is. But overall, I like this episode. It's like a 8.5. We'll say 9 out of 10 because it just works. It doesn't have any huge problems. I like the kind of emotional arc that Bucky has, where he still has, even though he's the Winter Soldier, he still has that inkling of Bucky in. So instead of murdering and killing Peter Quill, he changes his mind and goes off on whatever journey he needs to go on. So I just like that they still keep those kind of pieces and parts of these individual characters. So, but anyways, with that said, that is gonna be my take on the second episode of season 2 of What If, which is of course Peter Quill if he attacked my Earth's Mightiest Heroes. Thank you. That's it. Thank you so much for watching. Comments below. What did you think of the episode? What did you think of the fact that they brought in all these characters? Very, very cameo heavy. Very, very bringing back characters that you know and love that may or may not have been in other movies and whatnot. But anyways, let me know in the comments. But otherwise, if you like what you see on this channel, awesome. Hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium. Hit that notification bell top to find what's coming next. If you like this video, awesome. Hit that like button. As always, we'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out.